Hello, guys. I'm so happy to see all of you here. And I want to congratulate you with the start of the new year and want to wish you amazing results to achieve your goals, success, and finally get your offers. And I really hope that our today's webinar will help you to succeed. Our today's webinar is going to be about how to secure your interview invite, CV and cover letter polishing, applying networking strategy and referrals. And our online webinar will be by our coach Andrew and together with one of his clients, Omar. About our agenda for today's webinar. Firstly, I will tell you about our format and rules. The format of our webinar is the duration is going to be 120 minutes. And firstly, we will make an introduction for 5 minutes. Then we'll start our main content part, which is going to be about 40-60 minutes. Then will be our feedback and Q&A session, about 30-40 minutes, and then next steps for 20 minutes. And guys, please, about our rules. So please mute till the end unless you are asked to speak by moderator. Then write your questions in the chat during the webinar, and you will be asked by me to unmute and speak. And when you want to ask something and you write something in chat, please use Andres and Omar's name before the question, so I can understand that you're going to ask. And when you will be asked by me, please turn on your video and unmute. Quickly introduce yourself, probably give us some feedback about the content part, and ask your question. And enjoy the show. Let me introduce ourselves. So my name is Alina, and I'm the client manager at Andrew Hamelenko Coaching and Consulting Group. And Omar is one of our clients. Omar, can you please quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Alina, and hello, everyone. This is Omar Harb. I'm a civil engineering graduate from the American University of Beirut. I've been working in civil engineering since my graduation and been planning and preparing to join strategy consulting with the help of Andre, of course, who has been giving me great guidance in every step of the process. Today, I'm going to share some of my experience working on Andre and particularly about networking, which is really important for joining strategy consulting. Thank you for attending, and I hope that this is going to be beneficial for you and you can make the best out of it.
Okay, great. Thank you a lot. And our expert for today's webinar, Andre. Andre is a career coach and mentor. Andre, can you please tell us about yourself?
Hi, Warren. Very warm welcome from my side to the first webinar this year. First of all, I would like to wish you a happy new year, since I see that there are so many faces here in the chat who we already know from the last year. So I would like to congratulate you with the Happy New Year. I hope you had a really very great celebration period behind you and that now you are fully recharged. I would like to wish you all the best for the coming 2021. Let it be the year of three things for you. So first, let it be the year of a strong health for you and your family members, so that you can be really very sure about everything is on the safe side and you can pursue to your goals. Let it be also a year of your personal growth. And in this, our company makes a promise for you to help you to bring you on the next level in career. And of course, let it be the year of your great joy, because not only achieving the goals is important, but way more is enjoying that process. So happy new year to all of you. All right, and on the next page, maybe it could also highlight a little bit some facts about myself. For those who still don't know me, my name is Andre. I'm a professional career coach and mentor, and this is basically due to two facts. Coaching and helping people and serving people has been part of me for a long, long time. It all started back in 2013 when I first helped a couple of friends of mine to get into consulting industry. And afterwards, I gradually started to professionalize my services. Secondly, I've been working in consulting in most amazing industries in really cool, serving really cool clients all around Europe, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Central Europe, Russia. I also spent 2 years in the Middle East on my own, and having worked more than 6 years in consulting have helped me to establish a great network of people, my friends, former colleagues, and now increasing number of mentees whom I helped to get into leading positions in consulting all across the globe, from North America, across Europe, Russia, Middle East, and Far Eastern Asia. And what actually our company is doing, we help students, MBAs, young professionals, and experienced hires to get into the top positions in consulting and other strategy-related sectors where they can hugely benefit from extreme stepped learning curve, great financials, and of course, a great learning environment. All right, so let's move on to the content of the webinar. So some of you are already familiar with this page. So this quickly describes the steps of the application process in consulting. So the first phase is basically, even before you start applying, you need to become very clear about setting your goals, like what kind of companies you want to work at, what is your preferred geography, what is the preferred position, etc. All of this. And for this, you of course need to prepare and polish your documents, which gonna be the foundation of your future applications. So this section specifically focus on that very first step. So how to get your interview invite, how to polish your documents, your CV, your cover letter, how to apply the networking strategy, how to get referred within the firms, because nowadays during the pandemic, the importance of networking is really hard to overestimate. And maybe Omar Harb will also confirm this later on from his own experience, how challenging it has become to get the interview invites. So we would like to deliver you the new approaches which will help you to become very efficient in terms of your networking skills, and will, as the result, help you to secure your interview invites, which is already 50% of your success. And then in the following webinars, later during this month and later on during this year, we will help you to prepare for all the next steps of the application process. So let's start with the basics, CV and cover letter. So now you already know that the number of spots, number of interviews is limited due to the pandemic, due to that economic crisis which we're currently experiencing. So getting an interview invite is becoming more challenging than it used to be before. And in order to guarantee that you have the best chances ever to even get invited to the actual interview, you need to have a really perfect set of documents of your CV and cover letter. And ideally, you need to find someone who is already working in your targeted company, who can recommend you, who can share your profile, who can forward it to the HR colleagues and put in a good word for you. This is exactly what I mean under the word referral. Okay, so let's start with CV and cover letter polishing. So just some general tips to provide you on the CV side. Ideally, your CV should highlight your you know that there is a typical section, three sections, maybe your education or your work experience, your awards, and some personal interests or extracurriculars whatsoever. CV in consulting is a little bit different. So for consultants or potential applicants, it's really very important to highlight their academic awards. Maybe there are scholarships or distinctions, stating in their education that they belong, that they have top grades, that they are belonging maybe to top 10% of the class or the cohort. Because recruiters from the consulting companies are really looking for unique people. And I'm pretty sure that every one of you is unique. And with some working on your documents, you can highlight your uniqueness. Then in terms of description of the work experience, it's always good to describe it not just as a process, but more as an outcome. Like what is the impact of your work? What kind of the results have you brought? And these things could be then supported by ideally facts, figures, numbers, some KPIs, percentages, etc. in your description. We will move on a little bit later on where I will show you good examples of CV and cover letter to make it even more specific. Then the third section actually should be the highlight of your leadership and extracurricular activities. What have you been doing on that part? So what are your engagements except the university studying? And last but not least, maybe you could also provide some interesting facts about your hobbies and private interests. You are doing some sports, maybe you've been a captain of a cricket team or a soccer team, or you were reading more than 50 books per year, or you have been traveling like Mirka, probably visiting more than 100 plus countries in just 1 year before a pandemic. So all those interesting facts you could actually mention on that CV. In fact, I can give you one simple example. When I was studying in the University of Passau in Germany back in 2012, I did, with one of my friends, we went from one city to the other city, and the distance was roughly 100 kilometers. And we went on foot within 2 days from Passau to the different city to Linz in Austria. I mentioned this interesting fact in my CV. And you know what happened? Every time in my interview, almost like 75% or so, 3 out of 4 people who interviewed me actually asked me about this interesting experience. So because it was so catchy to him. So therefore, hobbies and personal interests could be also very interesting because they give an opportunity your interviewer to connect better to yourself. So let me show you an example of a really great CV. So this is a template which is normally used by HEC in Paris, which is one of the leading business schools. And I found it really very interesting. So on top, you have basically all the necessary information. In some geographies, especially in Europe, we like to put our profile picture, which could be put here on the right hand. So this could be something which you have on your LinkedIn profile. So a picture of you being dressed smart, in a suit. So like the one which, for example, Javier is having on his profile, who is also attending this webinar. So something similar. Then the first thing is the summary, so profile summary. This is a 2-line, very quick description up to the point about who you are. So be very brief and very strict and up to the point in describing that you are providing some information about your background, your professional experience or your education, and then your motivation for joining, for example, consulting roles. Then the candidate starts with education and professional experience. Depending on what is the most latest in your CV, so what is the most actual experience, whether you are still studying and you have done internship in the past. If you are still studying, then start with education. If you already working post-education, then start with your professional experience. But in that case, the candidate is still studying, and you can see that he is studying still for at least 1 year in future. So what you see in terms of education is that the candidate tries to highlight some really very special things about his education, which makes him best in class. So for example, for his bachelor, he says that he received first-class honors. Or for Forest School, London, United Kingdom, he was in top 10% of the cohort. This is exactly what you need to highlight also in your education to make sure that your profile is easily screenable. Then, in terms of professional experience, as I mentioned to you, try to highlight not only the process, don't use gerunds that much, but for instance, use more past indefinite tense and provide facts, figures, numbers, percentages. So for example, if we go for the first bullet point, here the candidate says, led the department of 6+ physicians, surgeons, nurses of stabilization of critically unwell child and adult patients in emergency department. So he provides the clear fact, led the team of 6+ physicians. Even though this candidate is a doctor by his background, he's trying to make the skills transferable, which are related to consulting or to the industry you want to get into. Or for example, if we go to the last bullet point, foundation year 1, doctor in London, United Kingdom. So in the hometown university hospital with 500 beds, he actually mentions that he managed 9 medical wards with 180+ patients independently during out of hours shift work, and that he led a cardiology audit project, which has led to basically to improve the specific parameter from 22% to 100%. In this way, the candidate clearly communicates not just the process, but what are the outcomes, what are the results, and backs it up with facts, figures, numbers, and percentages. All right, so let's move on. This is just the second page of this CV because it was very difficult to put it into one slide. That's why it's just one page CV, but we split it into 2 slides. So then the candidate lists out his leadership and extracurricular activities. You will receive that template later on, so that you can review it by your own. I would not stop that much into his or her personal details. And then in the additional skills and the words, you can also mention something about your language skills or about your publications if you had any, or ID skills or volunteering work, or as I mentioned, personal interests. Like here, for example, 10 years of martial arts or improvisation comedy. So basically, highlighting also some interesting facts about the individual. Okay? All right. If you have any questions about how to create a perfect CV, just drop them right now in the chat so that Alina can also have a chance to look at them and basically provide you the opportunity to speak and ask your questions. Otherwise, we will simply proceed with defining the cover letter. All right, so just some general principles about the cover letter. I would strongly suggest you to write a cover letter which follows a very simple structure. So in the first, I think that we have a question here, Alina. Can you maybe give a word to the candidate?
Yes, so sorry. We have a question from Isabel. And Isabel, can you please introduce yourself and ask your question?
So hi, I'm Isabel I'm from the Philippines, and the question I have is, what is the most appropriate number of bullet points below each work experience?
Ideally, I would say if you have at least several experiences, if it's not just one, then don't make the list too long. I have seen that there are like candidates try, especially for those who are coming from Asia, they're trying to write down as many bullet points as possible. Like I have seen 7 or 9 bullet points in the CV. No, that's not what we are looking for. Actually, it should be very clean, and ideally it should be about 3 bullet points. So just take over 3 the most powerful bullet points for each experience, and then highlight them and back them up by numbers. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your question. Yeah. Any further questions?
Yes, we have here one more question from Victor. Victor, can you please turn on your camera and microphone and introduce yourself and tell your question?
Yeah, hi. So I read a lot of articles on the internet and it was confusing. Some say that you must have a 1-page CV, while others say it's also okay to have a 2-page CV. So I tried both. And let's say that on the 1 page, it was a bit more, the formats were not that great, but the 2-page one was quite good. So I'm confused.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much, Victor, for your question. Can you maybe also specify where do you live and where do you want to apply? Because there are some regional differences.
Yes, currently I'm in Belgium and I've been trying in the strategy consulting domain for the last 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. Yes, Victor, you are absolutely right. Either 1 or 2 pages CV are the most common. I would say that for me personally, the best practice is 1-page CV because it's the most universal, which you can apply all over the world. So you can apply with this in Europe, you can apply with this in the Middle East or in North America or in other countries. So normally it's just one page CV. And especially if you are coming from a business school, I think that most business schools also teach and help you to create one page CV. And to those who will stay until the end of the webinar, I will provide, or our team will provide, the example of that great CV, which we just showed you on the previous 2 pages, so that you can directly apply it to your needs and adapt, and that's clean up, and that will further increase your chances for getting the interview invites, together with some other tools which we will be talking about today. But of course, in some countries, especially in Central Europe, in Germany, in Switzerland, in France, in UK, and in Australia, for example, I know that 2 pages CV, or even in Canada, they are also pretty much common. So therefore, there is like no right or wrong, but in my case, 1 page CV is the safest variant. If you can convince with just 1 page and make it really great and make it precise, make it fact-based, if with 1 page you can convince that you are good, then you don't need the 2nd page.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
This makes sense, yeah. And sometimes the formatting that you use for the 1 page CV, like I used some tabular forms and all, they may not be necessarily compatible with AI. That was, so.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah. But this is not, this is sometimes even your advantage. All right, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Victor. Yeah. Alina, do we have any further questions?
No, for now it's everything.
Okay. All right, cool. Then, yeah, let's move on regarding the cover letter. And for previous page, please. So as for the cover letter, I just want to present you a very general rule which I always recommend my clients to apply. This is, for example, for Omar or for other candidates, this is the best practices which I can recommend you. So the logic is the following. In the first paragraph, you basically describe why do you want to join a specific company. So why this company? For example, why consulting? Why that region? Why that company? And in order to explain your motivation, there are 2 ways how you could do that in a best way. So first of all, professional motivation. If you, for example, if you have read any interesting article on news or a contribution or something else about that company, and you found it really amazing, and then you can relate somehow to it. This is number 1. The second, which is even better option, is if you already have some personal contacts in that company, if you have already spoken to someone in that company, and that person told you many great things about this company, and you are very convinced, and you see that there is a mutual match between you and the values of this company. If you can relate to that person, and if you can relate on what he is saying about the corporate culture, and you feel already that you are part of it. So I would like to recommend you to use both these factors, the professional tie and the personal tie, especially through the referral, to explain your motivation. Why do you really want to work, for example, for BCG, but not for McKinsey, or for any other company you actually want to work to. So this is part one. And in that first paragraph, you then describe like, for this reason, I would like to apply for a junior consultant position, for example, at your company. And I think that I am a good candidate for the following 3 reasons. So then in the next part, which is a longer one, so if the first paragraph answers the question, why this company? Then the second, third, and fourth paragraph, so the 3 following paragraphs, are basically answering the question, why you? So why do they need to hire you? Why out of 100 candidates, they need exactly you? So what kind of value can you bring and can you add to the company to make it more competitive? What kind of skills do you have? What kind of expertise? What kind of experience do you have, which you can bring into the table and to make this company even better? So every paragraph, like second, third, and fourth paragraph, are describing these specific skills. And consulting companies are looking for very specific skills. So they are looking for problem solving, for your leadership, for your team management, conflict solving, for analytical skills, for your diversified experience, maybe multicultural experience, or managing multiple stakeholders, for your communicational skills. So these are the skills which consulting companies and their recruiters are looking for. So ideally, you can highlight 3 of these skills of your choice, of course. And then in the final paragraph, you basically summarize all what you have mentioned before and ask for an interview invite to discuss your potential career opportunities with the members of the recruiting team. So this is just the theory. Let's now move on to practical example. On this side, I have basically copied one of the greatest cover letters which I have seen lastly from one of the candidates. We will also be sharing this cover letter with you, but I just want to emphasize, please don't copy paste all the things as they are written in these letters, because companies have already received something similar. So please make sure that you really adapt it, adapt the wording, adapt the reasons why they need to hire exactly you to your specific case, so that it's not the case of the previous candidate, but it's the specific reason of Michael, it's the specific reason of Gabriel, it's the specific reason why to hire Andreas or Victor or Omar or Isabel or Max or Ahmed or anyone else, Javier or anyone else in that group. So please adapt it to your specific situation. This is just a scheme. This is just a very good example how it could be written. Okay? All right, so just to give you an example. So here on the top left hand, you have the addressee whom you are going to address this. So for example, this was to BCG Dubai. And then on the right hand, you have your own personal data. And then you, after the salutation, you have the first paragraph where the candidate already in the first sentence, he or she addresses and relates already for the professional tie to that company because of the publication. So he read a publication by BCG and he found it extremely interesting, the approach, etc., and that he actually wants to work for that company to provide similar great solutions to its clients. But then the candidate has also taken a chance to discuss and have multiple conversations with former consultants of that firm. And he was very inspired about the values and about the personality of those people. That's why, for these reasons, he would like to apply for the consultant position at VCG and would like to join the firm. So this is all written in the first paragraph. No need to write it right now, because those of you who will stay until the end of the webinar will get these as a free bonus example. Okay, so this is the first paragraph. Like, why does the candidate wants to work for that specific company? Then in the next 3 paragraphs, he is providing the specific reasons. So for example, collaborative approach, diverse experience, value delivery, and then every paragraph, the candidate tries to structure in a very simple way. So he points out, or she points out the reason, and then gives an example how to highlight this reason. So for example, value delivery. Then the candidate describes situation, task, approach, results, and learnings. So he used star plus L approach. This is a very common framework to describe examples. So he starts with situation, like when he was at the first Abu Dhabi bank in 2015, he realized that there was some challenge, and that was also his task. Then he describes his approach. Then he describes his results, backing up by numbers and all these things. And then he also discusses his real-time learnings, like what does this situation give to him specifically. And this he does for every of the 3 paragraphs. So for a client collaborative approach, for diverse experience, and for value delivery. The structure is all the same. It's star plus L approach. So situation, task, objective, results, learnings. Just 1 sentence for each bullet points of it. So this he does consistently in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th paragraph. And then in the 5th paragraph, it's just a quick summary of what he or she has said already before. So therefore, he says something like, I would like to use all my motivation, profile, experience, and passion for serving the clients to add real value to your company and your clients. Because consulting is all about adding value. So he provided all those reasons to convince the recruiter to give him a chance to be invited to the interview. So then he mentions that I would be very pleased for having a chance to convince the members of your recruiting team during the personal interview. And then it's just sincerely yours, name, surname, signature, scanned as a picture. So that's pretty easy. And now I actually want to ask you, can you follow it? Do you have any questions about how to write a proper cover letter? Can you maybe put them into the chat? Alina, do we have any fresh questions?
No, for now, no. I will tell you.
All right. If you have any questions, just feel free to drop them in a chat so that we can answer them as we go. All right, so that's being said, let's move on. And now the key thing is also, I want to open you a secret. I want you to show how do I network personally, because I have huge experience in networking, and I don't like to use LinkedIn a lot because many people became ignorant in the last days and months during the pandemic. So consultants have been always bombarded by those LinkedIn requests, and therefore they don't like to connect through LinkedIn a lot. I would like to show you a better tool, how you can really connect deeply to the persons, and how you can work out on your networking in order to get secured your referrals and convert them into the interview invitations. So basically, I would start with do's and don'ts. So I wouldn't recommend you to use LinkedIn as the only source for your networking activities because of the reasons I just described. If you are trying to connect to new people whom you don't know yet, so please don't send them standardized messages to your potential contacts, because I really hate when I feel that someone approaches me with some dummy copy-paste message, which could be easily sent out. So don't actually approach me or anyone else with very standardized message. For instance, look more about my profile, research more about myself. Maybe you would find something interesting how you can connect to me, and write it down. So also maybe praise your potential contact. So give something to him or to her to make sure that the person would be willing to connect to you. Okay, and at the moment, I would strongly discourage you from applying through LinkedIn or from applying through the website, because at the moment, the chances are extremely low for you to get invited. There is a different way how you can proceed to this. So just don't apply through the website or through LinkedIn, because if you get an automatic rejection, which is currently very high probability, then your profile will be frozen in the system for another 12 months and you would not be able to apply. So we have now spoken a lot about what we shouldn't do, but let's rather focus on what we should do, right? So I would strongly recommend you to do the following next things. First of all, try to reactivate all your possible contacts. These might be your friends or colleagues or someone from the past working experience or someone else whom you know on the personal level. Maybe some of them either is in your first-hand connection or not later than the second-hand connection. There will be someone who is working for the company of your choice. And then you can connect and maybe refresh your connection to these people. So expand your network. Then you are already doing this great. So become more active and visit free webinars or free recruiting events in order to stay in touch with people, to get to know more people, because every webinar gives you an opportunity. You will also learn here some more new people, maybe from the chat or ourselves. And you will hugely benefit from all the experience which we're sharing with you. Then the third strategy is find someone who already works in your target companies over LinkedIn. Maybe they are having something in common with you. Maybe you have used to study in the same college, or you are from the same origin, or from the same sex. I mean, females, women can easily connect to each other. So look for the people in your targeted companies who have something in common to you. You can already send them a LinkedIn search request and connect to them, but don't write them a message through LinkedIn. In shortly, I will show you a better example how to really connect to people. So when you approach the person, before you write him or her, try to research as much information as only possible about this person in the internet. So check his or her LinkedIn profile, check other social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I don't know. Read, Google about that person. Maybe you will find any interesting publications or experience or contributions or articles or posts from this person where you can really connect to him or to her and to make your conversation more meaningful and more deep. So no standard emails, but rather very tailored emails. Yeah, and then I mean, let's make an example. So, for example, we have spoken with Victor Bordoloy, who asked me a question about one pager or two pager CV. So imagine that you have found it that Victor Bordoloy is working for the company of your choice. Let it be BCG or Roland Berger or Oliver Wyman or whatever the company is. So if Victor is working at BCG, then you can probably very easily figure out his email, because it will be something like victor.bordoloy@bcg.com. So basically name.surname at companyname.com. And this will happen in 99% of the cases. Otherwise, you can simply Google for email addresses so that you can approach Victor. You have sent him a LinkedIn request, but you don't write him a message over LinkedIn, because people, especially consultants, don't always have that much time to read their LinkedIn emails, and LinkedIn messages are not obliging. But if you were to approach Victor on his work email, it's part of his working attitude to answer all the emails. So the probability significantly increases that your email will be first read, and secondly also responded. So therefore, formulate a very, very kind email to Victor. So for example, you came across to his profile over LinkedIn, and you figure out that you have been working or you used to study in the same college. So for example, you are having MBA from INSEAD, from the same school. So Victor is one of your alumni, or he has studied at HSC or London Business School or whatsoever. So you have something in common with him. Let it be your education or your sex or your background. So there is some commonality with Victor. So when you are approaching Victor and imagine that he's your alumni, first of all, try to praise him. So for example, if you are currently studying at INSEAD and Victor is an alumni of INSEAD, then write him down something like, hey, Victor, greetings from INSEAD campus in Fontainebleau or Singapore. And I hope that you still have good memories about your MBA year with you. And for sure, that person will have those memories. So with this kind of sentence, you try to connect to that person, because then the person will say, oh, first of all, it's a great salutation. So try to understand how to write nice emails which make other people become really pleased. So this is really key. And then you can also praise Victor for something. Maybe Victor has accomplished something good. Maybe you figure out that he wrote a very, very interesting publication or article or a contribution, or maybe he was engaging in one of social projects, or you found something about his experience extremely interesting. So highlight this to him during your email, because this will show that you have done your home task, that you are not just approaching him 1 out of 1,000 from the crowd, but you have been investing into that relationship before. And people always like to see that. So let Victor feel happy and honored about achieving something great with your email. And then you can briefly write about yourself, that, for example, you are Hami Tin, that you are currently studying at INSEAD, and that you really have a great interest in joining the company where Victor is working, and that you have been passionate about the entire industry and all of this, and that you really honor his time and ask Victor for help at the end of your email. So ask him, like, I would like to join consulting space, and in particular also your company. Would that be possible for you to share your great experience with me, Victor, in a quick call? This is the first question. And then the second, like, when do you have 30 minutes of time? Because this will make it more specific and more concrete. So Victor will also know what you are expecting from him. Then you say, best regards, Hami Tan or Isabel Del Galero or Gabriel Lazos or Mirka Dukayeva, etc. And then you send this email out. On the next page, I want to show you this example, how it looks like. So for example, dear Victor, greetings from HEC campus in Paris. I hope my email finds you well. Then a brief introduction. I'm an MBA from HEC Paris Business School, where you are a distinguished alumnus. I'm pretty sure our college memories are still lingering in your thoughts. I found you on our own alumni directory and then through LinkedIn. I have been following your career for quite some time. I was really inspired by your professional growth, accomplishments, and personality. The feedback and recommendations your clients gave to you over LinkedIn are just amazing. So in this way, it's just a little bit informal with a smiley, but it gives a certain attachment to that person. I'm pretty sure that if I were to receive this kind of email, I would be already deeply touched, basically, by the candidate. Then the person writes that I'm passionate about taking the next step career in consulting after my graduation in a similar way as you did a few years back. I would be really very happy if you could share some of your valuable experience on how to break into consulting and your firm in particular. So this is like, what is your expectation and what are you asking the help for? And then, would you be open to help and have a quick call with me? Question mark. And when do you have 30 minutes? So this is exactly what I have just explained to you in very more details. And I'm pretty sure that if you use this form of email, of conversation, if you do your home task correctly, then I'm pretty sure that the person, that Victor, will have almost no other chance. If he is a good person and not an asshole, he will reply to you. And you will have the chance of having that conversation. And in that conversation, two things are very important. So first of all, in that conversation which you arrange with Victor or the person you need, it's really important that you give something. So before asking for a favor, give something to person. So show your highest interest into that person. It's like a coffee chat. So imagine that you were having a chance to speak to one celebrity. So what would you ask? If it's Lady Gaga or I don't know, Mother Teresa, or someone who is really famous, and you feel very honored. So it's not a lot about you, it's about Victor's experience. It's about his life, his what he has been doing for BCG or in other company, what kind of clients is he working, what kind of challenges is he facing. So ask him something also personal, like, Jesus, last year was so challenging with this whole COVID story and with closed doors, closed offices, no traveling. So how does that have, what kind of impact does it have in your life, Victor? So what are your learnings? How was the life in consulting during the pandemic when you were sitting most of the time on the ground? Did you actually enjoy it? What kind of challenges did you face? What have you learned? All of these things. So first 20 minutes, try to connect to person as much as you only can. This would be really very important. And then if you see that you have reached a certain good level of connection, then ask for a favor. But if you don't see that there is no good level of connection, or if the person needs to run, then simply ask them whether it's possible to rearrange additional call because you still have questions. So the environment should be very suitable for it. And if all stars are shining in your favor, and if you have connected really very well with the person, only then ask and tell about your situation. So tell that you really want to join the firm, you really want to break into consulting. You may complain a little bit, saying like it has been so challenging to get even the interview calls as of now, and everything is just going mad. So therefore, just ask Victor for some personal favor. Ask him a question like, hey, would that be possible for you maybe to help me out a little bit and to forward my documents to the HR and put a really good word for me? So ask these questions. And I'm pretty sure that Victor is a nice guy, and if you have done everything else before that correctly, he will help you. So, do you have any questions regarding this? Alina, do we have any questions on that? Oh,
No.
I see the smiling from Victor.
Yes.
Sorry, Victor, for having abusing your name. I was just trying to make this feel a little bit more personal, how you can connect to other people. All right. And by the way, so for those of you who will stand to the very end, we will also provide this great example of how that works in practice, and also example of this email. And in this way, you would be able to connect to many people. All right. I think that I have spoken a lot about it into theory. I see that I have here Omar Harb and Gabriel Lazos, who both are basically already applying this strategy successfully. So, Omar, maybe let's start with you. Could you tell me a little bit more about how was your experience with networking so far? How did this strategy help you to reach out and to connect to people? What kind of the outcomes do you have? And later on, maybe Gabriel would be also willing to share his experience as well.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Andre, and hello again, everyone. From the things that I've learned from Andre and from my personal experience, there are basically two main things I'd like to discuss about networking today. So Andre have gone over a lot, like mainly covered everything, but there are some things that I'd like to stress out and give examples from my real experience. So first of all, the two main things are the importance of networking, and second of all, how you can implement it correctly. So I'm sure every one of you is pursuing a career in consulting, so you can think and this as consultants do, like try to weigh out the pros and the cons. Now, with respect to the cons, of course, they are few, like it's just the time that you are investing doing this, and it's totally worth it, since regarding the pros, Andrea mentioned that you would be able to just skip and directly be invited to the interview process, especially that nowadays opportunities and vacancies are less than before. There's a lot of competition, so that would be in your advantage. Second of all, you would get the edge over other interviewees or candidates. So basically, you have learned a lot from your coffee chats about what does this firm value in the candidates, like what's the type of work that they do and the projects that they actually work on. And you can basically use this in your cover letter, such as the example that was provided before, or in your actual interviews. For example, I talked to manager X and he told me that you value 1, 2, 3, which I'm really good at. Or I learned that your firm is differentiated from the other firms with this, and this really triggered my motivation to join. So in that way, it would put you in a better position where you can show more enthusiasm and motivation towards applying for the job. Now, third of all, even if this did not work out and you weren't able to get the referral, you would benefit from those calls, since those conversations are really interesting and you'd get to enjoy them. Second, you would get to develop your communication and be more ready for your next coffee chat, perhaps. And third, of course, you are growing your network. And this is really important as consultants. Now, how you can implement this directly, it's split into two parts. So how can you arrange for the actual coffee chat, and how you can prepare and actually drive the conversation on those coffee chats. For the first part, Andrea stressed on that you shouldn't target those people through LinkedIn, just through emails. What you can do is identify the firms that you are interested in working in, identify the people that you are targeting, and those are who you would have something in common from your majors, maybe your background, your career track, or the universities that you've attended. So you'd get to approach them from there. And you do that through a cold email. You can figure out the email format, as Andre mentioned. Now, the probability of getting a reply is like not that much, it's pretty low. So I should suggest that you target managers or principals. It's more likely that they reply. Second of all, tailor the email to those persons, such as the example that was given earlier. And third, you should time your email properly. Like try to send it during times that they won't be really busy, and those would be around midweek, around noon time. So this would increase the chances of actually getting a reply. Now, what I would also recommend is being organized with this, like having a roadmap with all the companies that you are targeting, with the people that you are targeting in each of those firms, in order to keep track on your progress. So who did I contact, when did I do that, and what was the outcome, of course. And when you have this in place, you can just keep going with your process and have a schedule for that. Now, for the actual coffee chats, like when you get to arrange those, there are three things that you should do. First of all, preparation. You should be really prepared by researching their background, like everything they might be interested in. You can even use LinkedIn to check posts that they shared. So if the person shares a lot of posts regarding technology, they're interested in technology, and you can discuss that with them at the coffee chat. In addition, you should have a set of questions prepared, and those should be questions that you can't find the answers for online. They shouldn't be yes or no questions. They should be like conversation openers where you can get to follow up on those questions with deeper and deeper questions to get the conversation running. Now, one of the things that I actually struggled with in driving those conversations is that I would, let's say, have 10 questions written down, and I would start asking them in a sort of a random manner. So the conversation would really get weird and awkward. Instead, even if you have 10 questions, you might end up just asking 2 or 3 with follow-up questions on them in order to make the conversation smooth. Now, after you've achieved that, which comes the part for asking for the referral, now most of those people actually know that you are speaking to them in hopes of getting referred. And if you get to impress them enough, they would actually offer to do that without you even asking. Like, I really enjoyed this conversation and I would like to help you by referring your documents to our HR. Now, if they didn't, as Andre mentioned, you should do that in the most friendly and non-aggressive way possible. And most importantly, you should stress on the fact that you are ready and you are willing to do any type of assessment prior to being referred. And in that way, they can be confident that they can refer you and you won't just fail the interview. So if you implement all those steps, I'm sure that you would be surprised with the results. And sometimes people might refer you to firms that they're not even working at, like for firms they worked for before, for firms where they have connections, they have a good network, and they want to help you. And just make sure to stay in touch with those people. For example, you can always message them, let's say, an article they might find interesting based on your previous discussion. You can wish them a happy new year, anything just to remind them that you actually exist. And at the end of the day, as we've discussed before, it's a win-win situation. There is nothing to lose, and you'd really benefit from this. I guess I've mentioned everything. So, Andre, please, if there's anything I missed on, let us know about. And guys, if you have any questions, just feel free to write them down in the chat box.
Yeah, thank you very much, Omar. I think it's really very valuable perspective, and you have summarized all the points really well and shared some use of from the field, from the hunt for a referral. Gabriel Lazos, Feliz Navidad. Would you like to show up and maybe also tell a little bit about your personal experience with networking?
And Feliz Navidad to you as well, Andre. Thank you very much. And I can only agree with you in that Omar was extremely exhaustive in what he just described. I think I can only but agree with most of his points. And I'm actually going to build upon one of his points in that one of the biggest takeaways I've taken from the process that I'm if you find something in your research about someone that you really admire, right? It's important to give them something, right? And that's something you constantly say. And one of the things that it's very easy to give is praise. So again, if you find something within your research about the individual that you're trying to contact, when you offer them sincere praise, I think that goes very, very far into achieving what you want to what you want to accomplish, right? And lastly, I mean, always think what else you can give to the other person, because that always comes in handy and it shows your generosity, right? The other person is much more willing to lend you a hand when you're the first one to lend a hand first, right? So I think those are my two takeaways, apart from what Omar already said, which is amazing.
Yeah, all right, cool. Thank you very much. So, guys, do you have any questions to us regarding the content? Would you like to ask me, Omar, or Gabriel any question about referral, networking, or cover letter? So feel free to drop them in the chat. Alina, do we have any questions?
I honestly think that you explained everything, and it's already nothing to ask because everything was in the content part, so everything is so clear.
Yeah, that's cool. So then I would suggest let's maybe skip the Q&A session for that time, and let's move on directly to the next few things. So I would like to give you a little bit of overview. How does our company help people? So we help students, MBAs, young professionals, and experienced hires to get into the leading positions in consulting firms. And I would provide you also with some of the examples. So we follow always a very standard process with our clients, whether it's Omar, Gabriel, Ahmed, or any other guys who are presented here in the room or are not here. So we always start with setting the right objectives. Then we proceed with the CV and cover letter polishing. And then we do this referral and networking strategy to help you to secure your interview invites. So as you see, today we focused on the second and on the third step largely. Then, of course, you will be having your upcoming interviews, and we help you to prepare for the first, for the second, and for the final interview rounds. So we accompany you until you will get that email from HR saying like, dear Gabriel, thanks for having you last Friday. You convinced us and we would like to submit you an offer. Our congratulations to you. Could you please share your passport detail and postal address to issue a contract for you? Best regards, Maria, HR manager of a certain company. And so we want to help you along the entire process until you will get there. Whatever the challenges you are facing, we are here. I'm here, my team and my business partners are here. We are fully committed to your results in order to make it happen to you. Then we will also help you with the decision making and what is the right firm for you specifically. And afterwards, we will provide also some onboarding and career growth help. So how not only to gain the offers from consulting companies, but way more is how to become a truly successful consultant. So how to become a star consultant and how to get promoted very fast. And this is exactly where I'm sharing my experience, which helped me to get promoted 2 times within the very shortest time frame, within only just 18 months. And normally promotion cycles at Roland Berger were about 24 months for one promotion. So I did a career progression for which my peers took something about between 4 to 6 years. I became acting project manager just within 30 months, in fact. So yeah, and Actually, we have really very great results. We have helped more than 50, actually 70 clients over the past 12 months. And I have only two major KPIs for my work together with you. This is very simple. Number one is the number of offers you get, and number two is your satisfaction or happiness rate. So I just want to give you some examples of our clients, which could be seen on the next page. And most recently, just to share with you a few stories. 2 weeks ago, one of our mentees, Carl Saliba, he received an offer from Oliver Wyman Dubai, worth more than 90,000 USD, and he's just 22 years old, I think, bachelor graduate from American University of Beirut, AUB, the same business school as Omar has graduated from. So the guy has received a really great offer in Oliver Wyman, Dubai. But then in December, two further mentees of us have received another 3 offers from the biggest firms in the Middle East. In November, 3 other candidates have started new positions in consulting in London and Germany. We also have way more people in the pipeline who are applying in the Northern America, in the Southern America, in Europe, in the Middle East, and in Asia. So basically, we're just about to help as many people as possible to get into their new job offers within these difficult times. And yeah, Omar or Gabriel, maybe you could share a little bit your experience on how is it really like working with us.
Yes,
Can you
you
maybe
can go
turn
ahead.
on your cameras, both of you? Gabriel? Yeah. So.
Yep, all right, I'll start then. So basically, I've been preparing with Andre for a while now, and he's been guiding me through every step, as he's mentioned before in the previous slide, from polishing the documents, networking, the fit part of the interview, and cracking cases, of course. And I believe that I was able to improve a lot through every aspect of this. Now, usually there's always interview simulations with, let's say, firms that you are targeting and you are interested in. So Andre would act as the interviewer, and believe me, you would feel the pressure of the actual interview. We have simulated this previously in our past webinar, which we will be sending you a recording of in case you did not have the chance to attend it. But of course, the pressure from your side would be a bit less than that. In addition to this, we usually conduct double sessions where I get to have an interview along with another mentee of Andre. So this would really help you like solve 2 cases at a time, have double feedback, and like observing this process would give you another perspective which you can reflect on your performance and actually improve from. Along with this, what I really like is it's not just about delivering concepts and practicing your interview skills as much as it's about that Andre is always positive. He really motivates you in every step of the way and keeps pushing you further in order to achieve your full potential. I think I've covered everything in this, and I'd like to leave something for Gabriel in order to talk about.
Yeah, you leave me with nothing all the time. I'm just kidding. It's a great job that you're doing. Don't worry. That's always Omar. But yeah, the thing that I have to most say about the whole process is that Andre has a very, let's say, organized process. You always know what you're doing, where you are, and it's very, again, Andre, extreme professionalism. That's amazing. I love it. I love working with you because it's very, I know I'm in good hands, but I'm going to achieve my goal because I understand the process.
Oh, guys, thank you so much. I mean, I'm so honored and I'm so happy. Thank you very much for these words. My wife, she's also here. She's listening to that webinar, so she's saying like, okay, well done, well done, well done. All right, thank you, guys. This is really coming from my heart. I don't know. I need to have some break. So thanks a lot for you. And also, I need to say that I really love to work with highly motivated and highly passionate individuals as Gabriel, Omar, or Ahmed, who are here in the room. And I really want, the mission of our company is to create an impact in your life, to help you, to bring you into the position where you will prosper, of course, financially, but what is even more important, that in 2021, you will all get the new job, which will give you an environment to grow. Because personal growth is probably one of the areas which attracts me most and which really makes my heart burning and trying to deliver you even the better results. That's the only message which I wanted to convey to you two guys, and to all the rest, to Victor, to Hami, to Sammy, to Isabel, to Javier, to all other guys who are presented here in the webinar. All right. Thanks a lot for that. Alina, maybe you could take over from here.
So guys, the participants of the webinar will have the following goodies. So we will send you a brief presentation of the webinar, also link to the video with the recorded webinar. It probably will be not today, like during the next days. Also, you'll have examples of perfect CV and cover letter with Andrew's comments and instructions, and example of the email for asking the referral. You saw it also in the presentation, and also you will be contacted by me for scheduling a free quick video call where we can speak about your current situation, about your questions, and if you have any requests, so we will be happy to help you. And also we ask you to fill the webinar satisfaction survey. Our colleague already sent it into the chat, so please.
As you are now here, can you just please click on the link and fill it out right now as we speak, because it will really help us a lot to improve even further and to move even greater content for you for the next time. So your feedback is extremely valuable for us.
And also we want to remind you that this month we have 2 more free webinars. One is the students of Lancaster University. It's going to be about Crack the Case interview. But you see here the date, January 20th, but probably we will change it into another date. So if you already registered to the webinar, we will let you know. And also you can check it in our social medias. And also another webinar will be on January 27th. And there we will speak about McKinsey first round interview simulation. And it will be at the same time as today. From 5 till 7 p.m. Central European time. So we will be very happy to see you there. And also you can see here our contact details. You can follow our social media. So there Andrea share his experience, a lot of useful posts, which can be like really very useful and helpful for you about consulting and about improving your skills. And also you can check our website, and there you can book a free call with me and my colleagues, other clients managers, and we will contact you and help you with your personal requests. Okay, and
all right, cool. Then please fill out the feedback form, book your free consultation call with members of our team, and just take care of yourself. On the behalf of the whole team and from our clients, Gabriel, Omar, and Ahmed, I really thank you very much for joining this event, and I hope to see you soon in the future webinars. But of course, I want to help you to deliver your results and make your 2021 the year of your personal growth with a new job offer in consulting. I'm happy to help you.
yes, thank you guys for attending our webinar. And I also hope that we will see each other soon, and wish you good results this year, and have a nice evening. Bye-bye, guys.
Take care.